For our next couple of clips, we have a gigantic douchebag on Emma's Keeping It Local segment. This time talking about Senator Chris Murphy and a little whoopsie that he had on Twitter, which is not that big of a deal, but we'll get into that.
It's regular Joe, subpar Joe,
gigantic. That's fair.
Senator Chris Murphy has gotten himself in some hot water. I mean, everyone getting hot water on social media. You breathe the wrong direction. But in this case, posting on X in response to a post that said 26 ships in Iran's shadow fleet had made it past the U.S. blockade in the Gulf of Oman, he wrote the word awesome. It's pretty obvious he's trying to be sarcastic. He's not been a supporter of what the president's doing. He's like, oh, awesome. Like, way to go, buddy, right? Well, he was called on the carpet for this, and here's his non-apology apology.
Twitter's become kind of a cesspool. I probably should give up on sarcasm on Twitter. Obviously, anybody that's seen anything that I have said about Trump's war knows that I think it's bungled, mismanaged. He should end it as quickly as possible. But sarcasm is not something I guess that's allowed on.
Okay.
No bonus points for guessing exactly when Twitter became a shithole.
Right. And it is awesome that they got passed.
Yeah, no, so he's going to get into this more as he goes, but, like, one of the things that they've been saying about this from the right is that, like, you should be, actually even from some of the center and left parts, it's like, just because we're involved in this illegal, unconstitutional, and war crimes full war, I don't know how to put that.
War crimes
ridden war, thank you. You can't be opposed to that, or you can be opposed to that as an American, but you still have to root for America, basically. And I think that's bullshit. Like, if we do something bad, we should be able to say, no, it's bad that we're doing this. And I'm glad that in this case, like, it's again, back to what we were saying before about how we don't support the Ayatollah or the regime or anything like that. Right. I just don't want us doing the wrong thing.
It's more patriotic to be critical.
Yes, it is.
Like,
because if you all blind loyalty gets you is the death of your country, because you ignore all the problems and let them fester and fester and fester until finally they destroy your country.
We're more patriotic than subpar Joe is.
We absolutely are. Also, the other part is he did the same thing that Andrea did in her first video on the Wimberger situation, where he's like, actually, the whole thing is kind of pointless. Like, he made a whoopsie on Twitter. Who hasn't? He was like, he said
you breathed the wrong way.
He acknowledged that it was sarcasm and was like, yeah, do. But then after saying, you breathed the wrong way on social media, you get some shit and it's not that big of a deal and all that, he goes into why it's actually kind of a big deal, which is stupid. Like, just don't undermine your own point before you start.
Before you start calling us in the comment section supporters of Iran, none of us are, and it's not that fucking complicated. The only reason Iran is the regime it is today is because we fucked with the democratizing country. I don't know what the answer to this problem is. It's a fucking complicated one that smarter people than me don't have answers for, but I'm pretty sure we don't make the world a better place by fucking with those people more.
Yeah, I don't think you made a strong enough point, actually. I'll put it this way. If I had the Infinity Gauntlet of Thanos and I could do, like, snap and do anything, every single global leader would be fucking poofed, and then the people would be able to start over. If you want to know if I support a regime across the globe, no, I don't give a shit. I don't even care if they're one that I like.
Right.
If I could just magically disappear all current existing politicians and we start over, sorry to my friends on the city council, I would do that because, like, fuck them. But that doesn't mean that we have carte blanche, Todd Blanche, to do whatever the hell we want to do with impunity, including commit war crimes.
And it's important, just to elaborate on what James said, the U.S. is the hegemony in the global politics scene.
Yep.
So any country that stands against the U.S. empire is in the right.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And that's a conversation we can have another time, because I'm sure James has some pushback on that.
For legal purposes, I don't necessarily agree fully with that point. FBI, please don't come arrest us. We're not actually traitors.
Let's put it this way, right? You can be right for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Right. True.
We can think that it's funny how bad the U.S. is failing at trying to fuck with a Middle East country. We can think it's kind of awesome how effectively Iran is sticking up against Donald Trump, because we've been over here on the left, we've been starved for someone to stick up against Donald Trump, while also condemning nearly every other action that regime makes. The defining characteristic that the majority of world leaders share in common is that they're all shitbags.
Sarcasm's allowed. The question is why? Because what's the message you're sending to our military? What's the message you're sending to our enemies? What's the message you're sending in general when you want to be sarcastic about this? First of all, you're pretending that a report that came from the gaslighting Iranian media should be treated like it's true in the first place. I mean, this is the game. Whose side are you on is the question.
I have made numerous TikToks about this, okay? It is so annoying to me that when I am talking about a country, right? In any country, usually socialist projects, right? China, whatever. And I quote a primary source, somebody from that country saying something, right? Like somebody will make a claim about Xi Jinping. And I'm like, no, Xi Jinping believes this because I have read a book that Xi Jinping wrote. They say that that's propaganda.
Yep.
But nothing that the U.S. says is ever propaganda. If other countries can make propaganda, so can the U.S. So just to blindly say that everything that comes out of Iran, that comes out of China, that comes out of Russia even, is propaganda is crazy.
Yep. And here's the message to the troops that he wants us to send. Since he asked us, what does that say? What it says is, I want you all home. I don't want any of you there. Right. I don't want you in that position. I don't want you.
They don't want to be there.
Maimed, dead. I want you home. That's our position. I want you home with your families. And as if I had my way in terms of how we handle the military, we would almost never need you.
But good old Yakuhuda's Joe isn't done there. What else do we got?
M. Snow's word for this. CNN, John Brennan, this intel guy, the same people that lied to us, told us this is the best version of Joe Biden we saw. The laptop was Russian disinformation. Suddenly, though, well, they got it right this time. Again, could Kash Patel do a little more? Could he do some things better? I think he could, actually.
Pretty legendary at drinking. So
they did lie, in a sense, saying that this is the best Joe Biden we've ever seen.
Yeah.
I'm willing to call a spade a spade. Mm-hmm. That was fucked up. That was a lie, right? Who got sued for lying?
Yep.
What news agency? And what viewpoint did it push?
Right.
Election denial.
Yeah. Also,
hence fraud from earlier.
The thing about Joe Biden was, yes, his team and the Democrats were hiding it. I was one of the first people that, like, before the rest of the party came out and was like, get rid of Joe Biden. Like, immediately after that debate, I was like, no, get this guy the fuck out of here. We cannot do this. And so naturally, when the push actually started for real, I was like, get him out of there. Like, even if we have to do Kamala temporarily, we can live with it. Whatever. Just get him out of there. Since I'm technically a Democrat, I have to say. I'm not one of those Democrats that just says what the leadership does is fine and we go along with it. No, fuck them. They're all shitbags. He helped do a genocide. I'm not going to mourn him when he's gone. The problem is they're doing the exact same thing for Trump right now.
Right.
They are covering up every little example that we have that Trump is clearly demented and has some serious issues. They're doing the exact same thing now. Like, they shit all over the Democrats for doing that with Biden. And now they're doing the exact same thing every fucking day. So no, spare me the hypocrisy trolling, because you guys are the biggest fucking hypocrites on the planet.
See, the thing is, before you in the comments accuse us of the same thing, there are some local politicians that we dislike, but I can promise you, on the federal level, we hate the Democrat leadership almost as much as we hate MAGA.
Yep.
And if there's a right-wing commentator out there who will do the same thing, you know, I might disagree with you on almost fucking everything, but you'll have my respect.
Yeah, I mean, we've even said we'll have right-wingers on the pod.
But to sit here and defame somebody, they tried the same treatment on Pete Hegseth. And let me tell you something. I can prove how it won't be real. Let's just say Kash Patel stepped down because of it. Then it'd be finished. You wouldn't hear another word about it. Just like Eric Swalwell. Don't you remember just last week we had press conferences? Women were coming out of the woodwork. It was terrible. The world was ending. And he had to be held to account. He got the message. Get out of the way. We don't want you anymore. He stepped aside. And now it's not even in the news. Amazing how that works.
Because he stepped aside.
Yeah,
he resigned.
What else do you want them to do? Shoot them in the square? Like, what? Of course they stop talking about it when they're no longer in the office. If a random person goes at somebody, because that's what Swalwell did, that they should be charged and taken to court. But I just mean, like, drinking too much, like Pete Hegseth. That's not a criminal offense, but it is something that I don't want my Secretary of War doing.
Right.
Like, so yeah, of course I stopped caring if he's not Secretary of War anymore. Like, It's stupid.